The Ace family, some of the most followed and controversial influencers out there, have officially lost their $10 million Woodland Hills home to foreclosure after denying being behind on their payments for months. This mansion was located at the top of a mountain in a private neighborhood bordering the Santa Monica Mountains, and the story of how they found themselves wrapped up in this financial mess in just 2 years of owning this estate is ridden with drama and controversy. If you've never heard of the Ace family before, that's okay, because even though they have almost 20 million followers on their YouTube channel, I hadn't heard of them either before this news started to surface. But in today's video, we are going to talk about who the Ace family is, some of the business ventures leading up to this $10 million house that they've bought and then since lost. And last, we'll dive into all the specs and details and drama about this house itself. If you're new around here, my name is Scott. I'm a real estate developer myself out of Arizona, so learning more about this Ace family home and all the drama surrounding it was pretty fascinating. Here on my channel, we talk all things real estate, so if you're into that kind of thing, think about hitting the subscribe button down below, because I'm putting new videos just like this one out every week. So I'm calling these people the Ace family because that is what they are known as from their YouTube channel, but the two people behind the YouTube channel are a married couple named Austin and Catherine McBroom. Austin is 29 years old, Catherine is 31, and their primary source of income is through their YouTube ad revenue, along with several sponsorship deals and other business ventures that they have promoted through their large audience, which we'll get into in a minute. Both Austin and Catherine have pretty light work experience prior to YouTube. Austin played college basketball for Eastern Washington University, and Catherine was a model for Victoria's Secret and some other clothing companies. In 2016, after their first child was born, the McBrooms didn't really have any steady stream of income at the time, so they decided to start a YouTube channel where they would just document their life and do things like challenges and vlogs and pranks. Originally, their channel name was Catherine and Austin Vlogs, but they quickly changed that to the Ace family, which stands for Austin, Catherine, and Elle, who is their firstborn. In this video, I want to focus mainly on what's going on with the foreclosure of the Ace family's California mansion. So today we're not gonna dive too much into their business ventures, but we should at least hit the highlights, because that'll help us to understand how these guys could afford a $10 million house to begin with. We already established that YouTube is the family's bread and butter. They hit 1 million subscribers after just 1 year on the platform. They had 7 million subscribers just a year after that. And fast forward to today, it seems like these guys have reached their peak at around 19 million subscribers. Their channel is getting about 15 million views per month right now, and even though their ad revenue isn't going to be the greatest because they are a vlog channel, my estimate is that these guys are still pocketing about $4 for every 1,000 views that their channel gets, which means that they're bringing in about $60,000 per month just in YouTube ad revenue alone. Add in merch sales and sponsorship deals, and the Ace family is for sure pulling in north of $100,000 per month just for sharing their life with people online. That's plenty for most people to survive on, but Austin and Catherine, I guess, just have a pretty entrepreneurial spirit, because there have been quite a few other business ventures that they have had their hands in over the recent years. The top 3 business opportunities that this couple has been involved in that we're going to talk about today are the Ace Club, Social Gloves, and 1212 Gateway. The Ace Club was a subscription service where you could download an app on your phone and then pay the Ace family $2.99 per month, and for that fee, they would give you exclusive members-only content. This is actually a pretty popular way for creators to support themselves. I even have a members-only section of my YouTube channel. If you'd like to support me in that way, by the way, you can click the join button down below. But anyway, the Ace Club app had some issues and holes in it, because in February of 2021, Austin announced that he was shutting down the Ace Club for good. Next up is Social Gloves, which is a super ambitious venture that Austin took on, which seemed like a pretty good idea on the surface. It was basically a big boxing match that put TikTok stars up against YouTube stars. You would think that something like this would have been crazy lucrative, especially with how much money there is to be made from boxing matches. But after the Social Gloves fight that happened in June of 2021, now Austin is being sued by the fighters and the investors because he never paid them the money that he allegedly owes them. Social Gloves was expected to bring in hundreds of millions of dollars, but it just wasn't marketed properly, so they simply just didn't sell as many tickets that they needed to in order to make it a profitable event. Now, not only are the fighters and the investors left underpaid or unpaid completely, but one of the companies who helped to host the event has filed a defamation lawsuit against the McBroom family for $100 million due to Austin Austin's involvement and the failure of the event. As if those two failed business ventures weren't enough, the last one that we have on our list today is one that was founded by Catherine, and this one was a makeup company called 1212 Gateway. 1212 Gateway is just like any other makeup company, but according to their website, their products use cruelty-free formulas made from ethically sourced ingredients, whatever that means. This company was launched right around the same time as the Social Gloves event that Austin did, and initially Catherine did have some success selling these skincare products, but unfortunately the brand didn't make it very far because after a lawsuit was filed in Los Angeles County, a partner of 1212 Gateway is seeking $30 million in punitive damages from the Ace family due to Catherine being accused of taking over and then abandoning the company. I don't know this family personally, but the impression that I'm getting is that they might be good influencers. They're just not good business people because they don't have the right experience and their egos are too big to delegate things to experts. All right, so it's time we finally talk about the $10 million house that the Ace family has so sadly recently lost to foreclosure. According to public records, they bought this place for just over $10 million on May 6th, 2019, and a few months later, they posted a full house tour on their YouTube channel, so there is plenty of footage of this place available online. There are 12 bedrooms inside, 13 bathrooms, 12,000 square feet of interior living space, and it's sitting on nearly 2 acres of land. You can see in this shot how things looked when the Ace family first approached the developer in the beginning. There were actually 2 separate homes that were under construction on 2 separate lots here, but the Ace family got involved right around this stage and they asked for the homes to be combined into one massive estate. Not sure why they would need all of that space, but since they are online influencers, I think a big part of their drive here was just to have a huge house so they have a ton of places to film content, because over the following couple of years, they put out tons and tons of videos from inside their home, making this house basically just one big studio or office for them. The house to me looks like a pretty standard spec build, which is what they call a house that a developer builds with no specific buyer in mind. The finishes inside are nice, but they're all pretty generic, which is common for a spec build. Starting with the entry, the house has a nice open floor plan with 2 levels and vaulted ceilings, which really opens up the space. The kitchen has white cabinets and white marble countertops with a big island in the middle. All of the bathrooms are pretty big, with the master bathroom being the most impressive, of course. Tons of marble in here, a ton of room, a large shower, all of that. There's plenty of garage space and outdoor parking space for all of their insanely flashy cars. The house has really incredible views because it's perched at the top of a mountain. And I think the most impressive part about this estate is just the size of the lot and all of the outdoor space, and how it's pretty private from all the surrounding neighbors. I watched most of that house tour, which was kind of painful to be honest, but one thing I took away for sure, and that is that these guys were super stoked about their new house when they posted this video back in 2019. We know that about 2 years following the purchase of this house, they had all of those failed business ventures that we talked about earlier, so it should come as no surprise that they stopped making their mortgage payments, but the way that they've gone about telling the story lately has been really weird and kind of suspicious. There are a few layers to this story that we need to dive into, but first let's just lay out the facts and the timeline. We know that these guys bought this house for $10,064,230 on May 6, 2019. Then by May 21st, 2021, a notice of default was filed, which we all have access to online, showing that one of the Ace family's companies, Ace Hat Collection Inc., was the owner, and that this notice of default was filed because they stopped making payments to Arch Funding Corporation. Their home shows listed for sale, according to Zillow, on July 10th, 2021, presumably a short sale attempt by the lender. And then by October 19th, 2021, the home officially went to foreclosure auction. Nobody bought the home at auction, probably because it's just ridiculously large and ridiculously overpriced for this Woodland Hills neighborhood, which means that the ownership of the home now goes back to the lender, and the lender technically has rights to evict the Ace family if the family doesn't move out on their own. Articles started popping up about the Ace family eviction, and of course, all of their cult following fans were upset by this news, but the McBrooms actually denied that there was any default or issue going on for quite a while. What these guys must not have realized is that almost Everything is public record when you buy a house, when you stop making payments on your house, and when your house ultimately goes to auction. Anyways, records began to surface that the family took out a total of almost $10 million worth of loans to buy their mansion back in 2019. Loans that were not with a traditional lender, but instead with a hard money lender, meaning that they were on the hook for a super high interest rate. A super high interest rate comes with a super high monthly payment, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $80,000 per month for a loan this size. The initial loan had a maturity date of 18 months out, which meant that technically if the Ace family didn't repay that loan in full within 18 months, then the lender could come in and take the home back from them. During the entire time that they were in default, and while all this was going on, by the way, these guys continued to crank out videos of themselves on their YouTube channel from the house, acting like nothing was wrong. After the Ace family home went to auction, didn't sell, then was passed back to the lender, Austin and Catherine finally decided to speak out about what was going on. On November 27th, 2021, the couple posted a 1-hour video to their YouTube channel titled Our House Story, and in this video, they finally face all the rumors and drama surrounding the house. I watched this whole video too, which was just as painful as watching the full house tour that they posted 2 years ago, but I had to hear their side of the story so I could give a fair perspective here. The gist of this video is that Austin and Catherine are saying that they got scammed from day one of buying this house, saying they got scammed by the contractor, the architect, the realtor, and basically everybody else involved. Their claim is that they bought the house without a certificate of occupancy, and the certificate of occupancy wasn't received because the house wasn't 100% finished. First red flag here, guys. For one, why would they close on this house before the house was even finished and before a C of O was even issued? And two, even though technically you can buy a house without a C of O, why did they move into the house when a C of O must be issued for your property before you can legally take up residence in the home? Anyways, throughout this video, they make a ton of complaints and claims about the builder's mistakes, saying that it rains through the can lights downstairs when somebody is taking a shower upstairs. There are cracks everywhere in the drywall. Condensation line wasn't installed properly on the AC unit. Water jugs are still sitting outside of the house above ground that were supposed to be buried. The sinks in the bathroom leak into the cabinets below. The front door was made of plywood when it was supposed to be made of mahogany. Tile flooring is coming up all around the house with grout lines splitting. The pool wasn't plumbed right. The AV closet is a rat's nest of wires. And there was no gas in the house, meaning that while they lived there, there was never any heat or hot water. I have to admit that this is 100% the builder's responsibility to fix most of this stuff as a part of their warranty. But with that being said, this family shouldn't even have moved into this house until a lot of these issues were taken care of. I mean, think about it. These guys have 3 kids and they lived in a house for 2 years with no heat or hot water. What? By the end of the video, the Ace family didn't take ownership of anything, and they also went on to say that they aren't seeking any legal action against the builder or anybody because the builder went bankrupt. To me, the whole thing seems fishy, because if they were dissatisfied with this house from day one, then why have they lived the past couple years of their life acting like everything was great and rosy? A lot of responsibility does fall on the builder in situations like this because they are a licensed contractor, but equal responsibility also falls on the buyer to do their own due diligence and seek legal counsel when needed. At the end of the day, my takeaway is that the Ace family absolutely has found the perfect recipe for building an audience and establishing influence online, but they simply should just not be involving themselves in these big business ventures like boxing matches or starting a cosmetic company or large real estate deals unless they are willing to hire a proper team to help them navigate through these things. With people and businesses after these guys for north of $130 million as of the latest reports, and their net worth reported to be only around $20 million, I'd imagine that a bankruptcy is in store for these guys at some point soon, unless they have really good protection through their LLCs or insurance. Since the Ace family does have a super large audience, and we all know how this YouTube algorithm works, it's very possible that some fans of the Ace family are watching this video today. So if you are a fan of them, Please let me know in the comments below how you feel like I covered this topic. Also, if you're thinking about buying a house for yourself and you want to avoid getting wound up in a situation with the contractors like the Ace family did, I actually offer some consulting services myself. I'll put the link to my calendar down in the description, and if you want to meet with me one-on-one to talk about basically anything real estate related, let's do it. If you enjoyed the video today, guys, if you could hit the like button down below for me as well before you go, that would really help me out a lot. And don't forget to click subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, because like I said before, I'm putting out new videos every week. But that's all I've got for you guys this time, so until next time, see ya!